años podrán correr en estos carros. Bracket 1 Racer, come to the starting line, please. Bracket 1 Racer. Los finalistas de Bracket 2, los que son ganadores de Bracket 2, vengan al cuadro de arranque. Necesitamos en el cuadro de arranque. Tiempo de 6.34 y un tiempo de reacción de .025.
Hey Dan, you're going bald up there.
Carril derecho, tenemos a No Mercy con un motor 484 Kate Black supercargado de alcohol. Vienen desde Escondido, California, el dueño Jeff Bennett. Es un 1988 Somerset. Sus ayudantes, Gumby Monkey Boy.
Gumby
Son sus
Monkey
ayudantes.
Boy. What the hell is that? Gumby Monkey Boy.
Un motor 460
kid.
Recording the fine landscape, huh?
Say hi to kid.
This will be record the interesting trek into Mexico.
Well, we got an hour of tape left.
Yeah. I like the Mexican church.
This is the wonderful Mexican countryside that smells like somebody's backyard doo-doo.
Yeah. Too bad the camera doesn't smell.
Here's Pat. He's had 5 cases of Coke. He's very hyper. Asshole, got my way.
Then you guys will know you're in trouble if you're driving home.
Fine Tijuana countryside.
I was screaming. It was right there! See that, Dan? The other side of the street, you had the roach coach sitting there at the funeral place. Selling people hot dogs and nachos.
Cool. Man. Well, if you wash your windshield, this make a much better picture.
Oh, I could spray some water on it and make a nice picture.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hey, he's out there weeding the lawn.
Move it! Move it! Get your butt moving!
Come my way, you fucking asshole.
Oh, it's only 60 kilometers.
We're doing 60.
There's some dogs up there.
Oh, it sure does. How fast is that?
35.
Some big dogs.
You better be going to San Luis.
There's some sheep.
Not San Luis.
It's big sheep. Pat, you missed the exit. Pat, that was our exit. Pat. Asshole.
Let me turn around over there.
You drive like this all the time?
Yeah. See. Want to see my anti-lock brake exhibition?
Uh-oh. Here comes a merge. Here comes a merge. We're going to crash.
Hurry up, double in.
We're going to crash. Oh, fuck. Shit. Ah! Jesus Christ. Do you see that?
What?
Beep, beep.
Boy, you almost hit that guy. He was right there.
Yeah, right there.
Boy, that other fender almost got it. Gee whiz. What a state of this
Oh,
place.
this touch is starting to come back.
Uh-oh.
Man.
Cute smell sign. Putrid smell next 5 miles.
Stay, we can see what we're smelling.
There's some septic sewer outlets.
Yeah, nice green color.
Nice little green tint to it.
Make sure you video a couple.
Oh, thanks for gonna go with that. A nice shit house. Another nice shit house.
Everyone does the work.
Nice another shit house. Another shit house. Some shit pipes. Shit barn.
And that window is beautiful. Our damn hotel room didn't even have windows.
You've got windows? Oh.
BMW drive.
Man, this guy's just gonna jet out the road. He's driving the Metro. No, he's driving Horizon. Looks like it. Where did I learn how to tell my car?
Except for those look like dairy cows.
Nice dog farm. Oop, ain't a dog.
I don't even think it was that. What do you think it was?
There's some more stinky smelling
Yeah, they didn't have
vermin.
a Trapino sign. Right up here somewhere. Pick a line, any line.
Make your own line. See, there's a pretty sunrise. Or no,
Sunset.
It's a sunset. Close enough.
Here's Dan bouncing the camera into the window.
Go ahead.
Turning,
Go ahead.
turning,
Uh-oh. G-forces are killing me. Bad, bad.
Catch that border
That's
jumper.
45, not 85. Yeesh.
Hey, we can do the back turn down to Mexico.
Right. You turn it.
And Motorsports presents
The driver reaction time seminar is currently going on, and a lot of cars have already tested. They're learning a lot about driver reaction times and something they've never known, the vehicle reaction time. They're given the normal reaction time. Now they have the brand new driver reaction time. Subtract the two and you know how hard the cars leave compared to one another. It's fascinating. Right now, though, let's find out how the Pro Stocks, both 2- and 4-wheel, did on this very asphalt last weekend. Here again is Dave.
the 1993 Motorcraft Ford Gator Nationals marked the 8th anniversary of the modern era NHRA Pro Stock bike class. And this year's field included Pizza John Mafaro, who won that first race back in 1985.
I was using a stock frame then. We had a little 8-inch rear tire on the bike, no computers. I mean, the technology and the competitors, it's come so far now that it's like a dream come true for me. That's why I'm still out here racing. I mean, these young kids they're on the gas here.
One of the young lions who's been on the gas is two-time Winston champion John Myers, whose Star Racing Suzuki proved too much for Pizza John's Kendall entry.
In '89, a kid came out at Indy and has been giving me trouble ever since. We'll be back. I got a lot of work to do.
In the Final Four, Myers met up with a Florida native, David Schultz. And in a battle of Winston champion, Schultz's Sunoco machine in the far lane overpowered Myers and moved him into a final round match with John Smith. When the lights flashed green, Schultz in the near lane held a sizable reaction time advantage. But it was not enough, as Smith ran the quickest ET of the event to take his first ever national event win.
Well, I thought Dave taught me a lesson on the starting line there, but I got around him about the end of second gear. It was a pretty good feeling.
That win put Smith on top of the Winston point standings, followed by Ron Ayers, Lance Boyer, and John Myers, with David Schultz rounding out the top 5. The four-wheeled Pro Stock final came down to a clash of cutlasses, pairing Warren Johnson's GM Performance Parts holes in the far lane against Larry Morgan's Castrol Super Clean entry. As the cars left the line, Morgan drifted near the wall and was forced to lift, giving Johnson a repeat Gator Nationals victory, and one that lived up to his expectations.
This is one of these races that everybody just groups together and pulls in one direction, and we came through.
The win solidifies Warren's position atop the Winston point standings, with Larry Morgan second, Mark Powick third, followed by Kurt Johnson and Scott Jeffrey on.
Many of the Pro Stock participants from last weekend have stayed over for this special session. A few minutes ago, I talked to some of the drivers about their impressions so far.
It's really exciting. It's certainly enlightening, not only as a driver, but for the crew chief as well, because that old controversy, are you late or the car slow, will be answered today.
Well, I think it's real exciting because it gives us a better idea of how to tune the car and how to coordinate the driver and the chassis.
Maybe I got a little bit to go here. I got to go back and practice a little bit.
It's not necessarily all the driver's fault, as this information is starting to show.
It's really showing us what's really going on in one of these Pro Stock cars.
I think we're all trying to learn something by it. I hope that we can learn something by it.
Pretty quick, huh? Well, so were the sportsman drivers this past weekend. Here's Bob Prize, Gators Report.
Things were sort of different at the 24th Annual Gator Nationals. I mean, take, for instance, the weather. Not exactly what the Florida Chamber of Commerce wants you to see. People bundled up on the first day of spring.
I mean, nothing's what you expected to see. You expect to come out and find 140 Supercom cars like this. Good-looking, rear-engine, long wheelbase dragsters. And you wind up finding something that looks like this, that you'd expect to see maybe at the Indy 500, not at Gainesville.
We get quite a few looks and quite a few laughs. Some people say it's not safe to drive, but with the shortness, it's 125 inches. It's longer than a regular body car, but shorter than a dragster. And it's consistent. It runs real good. We've run 811s with it at half track, so I think we can come into something where it's going to work good, and it's nice to drive. It's easy. It's like driving a go-kart.
The Supercomp cars went from looking like go-karts to looking like top fuelers. I think Beverly McAllister needs to get Big Daddy to give her a swamp rat number for this dragster. And David McCarthy's been taking notes on wings over in the Garlott's pit area, too.
The cars weren't the only thing that were a little bit unusual at this event. I mean, you expect to find drivers that look like this, but what you don't expect to find at a race is a driver that looks like this. This is Mary Blake, part of the husband and wife team racing here at the Gator Nationals.
and I taught her how to fly. She's flown small Tomahawk airplanes, and once we got into the car racing, I taught her how to do the drag racing, and since then she's taught me a little bit about it.
When we got down to the Supercomp finals, things weren't so different after all. For the third consecutive national event, a different person with the last name Richardson won. This time it was Scotty Richardson in the far lane, defeating the very tough Bobby Taylor Jr.
You guys are just going to gang up on the rest of them.
I hope so. If one of us don't get you, the other one will.
Now, here are the rest of the winners from the Motorcraft Gator Nationals. For NHRA Today, I'm Bob Fry.
Castrol presents the GTX Pipeline, the latest news from the world of drag racing.
We're all used to buying our racing souvenirs out of a little bitty tent or maybe a trailer. Well, that could be changing soon because the Sports Service Company, the company that handles all of NHRA souvenirs, has come up with this transportable building, and it is really some kind of a structure. It's got a huge aluminum frame. You can see all of these girders that bolt together and vinyl walls stretched over the frame. It is completely climate controlled. The downside of this thing is it takes 15 people 2 days to put it up and another day for the sales crew to bring in all of the displays and the merchandise. But I think it's still going to pay big dividends on one of those hot sweltering days in Indianapolis or when the occasional monsoon hits Englishtown, New Jersey. As you can see in its debut appearance, it is a very busy place.
The Nashville Network, the #1 source for country music, entertainment, and information.
We are back at Frank Hawley's drag racing school. And Frank, this session has a lot of people scratching their heads. Mechanics trying to figure out how to make the car take off quicker, and drivers going, how can I improve? It's worked.
Well, that's what they were my suspicions, and that's what we built this for, so that eventually it'll be an NHRA competition, and everybody from the bracket racers to top fuel drivers will be able to get that same information.
What can a driver do besides practicing on a porta-tree?
Well, we're working on some programs down here, and if they came to visit us, then maybe we could help them out.
Well, we hope a lot of them come. It's an interesting program.
Thanks very much.
Right now, as promised at the top of the show, Big Mac Dave McClellan goes to driving school.
When people think of Dave McClellan, they usually think of a race announcer, a television commentator, and one of the biggest drag racing fans on the face of the earth. But it's always been a dream of mine to actually get in the seat of a top-notch professional race car and take it for a spin. It was that dream that brought me to Rockingham, North Carolina, home of the Roy Hill Drag Racing School. Roy has worked with the best and earned a reputation as a top-notch instructor.
That was the one we was looking for. Warren Johnson, I helped him out. Scott Jeffron, I helped him out. I can't say my way of driving is perfect, but the results I've had with people that I've taught is second to none.
School started with a classroom session covering the basics of the cars, giving students insight into Pro Stock's tricky suspensions, careful adjustments for weather conditions and other problems associated with the naturally aspirated engine. Then with Roy riding along via a radio headset, it was time to get me behind the wheel.
I can talk to you, but you can't talk back to me. That's the way I like it.
As Roy went through the cockpit orientation, I began to see how much is involved in piloting one of these powerful machines. Finally, with a stomach full of butterflies, I was ready to try some burnout.
Some people say it's like a boot camp. It's tough here. It's not easy. But we deal with the people that come in here, and we give them all what they're looking for. And that's a lot of fun. And the ones that really want to be serious, we can make race car drivers out of them.
Whoa. Haven't been worried about making a run yet, but the burnouts, it takes a whole lot more concentration and a lot more procedures than I would have ever thought. It looks so simple sitting up in the tower announcing these guys doing these long, smoky burnouts, and they make it look so simple. But trust me, it's a lot harder than it looks.
Roy's approach takes you through the quarter mile step by step, starting with a first gear launch, then the 8th mile, and finally the quarter. Unfortunately for me, it took a little time.
He's scaring me. Still had the line lock on, guys. You see that? Cars everywhere. You can't be doing that.
One thing's for sure, at the Roy Hill School, you certainly learn from your mistakes. After my line lock trouble, Roy showed me what went wrong both on the track and later through video analysis. Finally, I got my second chance. After the 8-mile pass was successful, I was ready to try the full quarter mile. It wasn't easy, but with Roy's help, somehow I got to the finish line. And I had a great time in the process. Plus, best of all, I earned my NHRA Pro Stock driver's license.
Your wife's going to be proud of you.
I hope so.
Steve Gibbs, eat your heart out, man.
Oh, it's fun.
Woo.
Boy, are we proud of our guy, Dave McClellan. He not only got his license, he also had a great time. But I wonder if his reaction times were close to those scored here at the clinic by the pros. Here's some of the better ones. Thanks to Frank Hawley for this first-time information. Well, we're out of time. Join us next weekend live from Rockingham in the annual Winston Invitational. Saturday, we'll feature sportsman racing from Hallsville, Texas, and on Sunday, live final round coverage from The Rock. It's going to be a great weekend, so join us here on TNN. For all of us at NHRA Today, I'm Steve Evans.
NHRA Today has been brought to you by Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars. Promotional consideration provided for and a fee paid by this special offer from Diamond P.
The historic and explosive 1992 NHRA drag racing season is yours in one terrific video from Diamond P. Just call 1-800-532-8989 to get Drag Racing 92. The entire season in review. Kenny Bernstein goes 300 miles per hour in a furious top fuel battle with reigning champ Joe Amato, young gun Corey McLennan, and Wiley Eddie Hill, and it all comes down to the last race. In funny car, John Force and Cruz Pentagon clash in a series of head-to-head shootouts, and Warren Johnson chases his dream in pro stock. To order, call 1-800-532-8989 or send check or money order for $24.95 plus $4 shipping and handling to the address in your screen. That's 1-800-532-8989.
NHRA
mired in one of the tougher stretches of his career. The Snake had struggled through the first 4 events of the season, but he found gold in the sand hills of Rockingham, using a hole shot to edge Joe Amato by inches and kick off an early season win streak. Another driver whose fortunes turned around at the Rock was Mark Oswald, who played giant killer in round after round, showing the kind of performance that would eventually carry him to record speeds before year's end. Already well in the midst of a strong season 1 year ago was Jerry Ekman, whose invitational heroics in his pro stock Pontiac gave him 3 wins in 5 events. Each of these 3 drivers left the Rock on a roll. The question now is, who will it be in 93? Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special live edition of NHRA Today, our continuing coverage of the Winston Invitational from Rockingham, North Carolina. I'm Steve Evans, and finally, we have a beautiful day. The weather has been so changeable over this long weekend, it's thrown a lot of curves at the men that try to tune these nitro burners. So we have seen a lot of oil and a lot of tire smoke, but also we have seen a record crowd and track records in all 3 of the professional categories. That ain't bad. With that said, let's bring you up to date on the big picture. Here with the Top Fuel recap, Dave McClellan.
Steve, the qualifying for Top Fuel Eliminator here at the 5th Annual NHRA Winston Invitational was exciting, partly because it was only an 8-car field, making it doubly tough to be a part of the program. The intensity came from the quest for the $10,000 bonus money that went to the #1 qualifier. And our diehard starting lineup shows us that Joe Amato headed the list at a 4.91 second elapsed time. The guy on the bump, the number 8 spot, was occupied by Corey McLennan. But the list of non-qualifiers is impressive indeed. Names such as Ed McCulloch, Kenny Bernstein, Eddie Hill, the 300-mile-an-hour car of Doug Herbert, among others, did not make this show. Corey McLennan, the number 8 car, will not be a part of the first round of eliminations, and here's why. On his 497 qualifying effort, McLennan had a failure in the rear wing area. The wing laid back, the car flipped over, slammed into the guardrail, and burst into flames. The safety safari was quickly on the scene and got Corey out of the car. He was transported to the University of North Carolina burn unit at Chapel Hill, hospitalized, is due to be released tomorrow with burns on his hands. They've already started plans for another car, and he'll be back just as quick as he can. In round #1, Ed McCulloch, the first alternate, came in for Corey McLennan, took advantage of a tire-smoking Joe Amato to take the victory. His elapsed time of 5:10.
Well, Ace, when you get a second chance, take advantage of it, huh?
I'm sure the performance wasn't real good, but the bottom line is McDonald's cars in the next round.
Two of the young stars in this sport met in round number one. It was Scott Coletta in the Coletta Flying Services car in the far lane. The Castrol Syntec entry of Pat Austin in the near lane. Austin went up in smoke. Coletta went 5:05 at 287 to advance to the semifinals where his opponent would be Ed McCulloch. Still in round number one of competition here in Rockingham, it was Jim Head in the finish line collectible cards dragster in the far lane against the La Victoria Salsa entry driven by Mike Judd. Lots of tire smoke as Darrell Gwynn watched and was not terribly pleased with that kind of performance. Mike Dunn ran a 5:13.
Well, Mike, you were headed for a quarter-mile burnout until you got a handle on this thing. Nice driving.
Well, yeah, I got real loose out there in the middle, and motor came up there and finally caught it. You know, the track's just a little bit loose out there today, and we've got to make some adjustments. We left the motor a little bit stout, and we didn't back down on the clutch quite a bit, but we'll get a handle on our next run.
While everybody else was smoking the tires, at least one competitor had the answer for this racetrack on this day. The Skoll Bandit was in the far lane in round number one. Don Prudhomme at the wheel, while Tommy Johnson Jr. drove the Mopar Express Loop dragster to the only 4-second time of the first round, 497 at 288 miles an hour.
Well, TJ, how does it feel to be class of the field here in round number one?
Well, Steve, the car's been very consistent this weekend. Ran 497 to 5 flat every run. I guess that'll win the race.
It won that race in round number one, but in the second round, the semifinals, it was Tommy Johnson Jr. in the far lane, Mike Dunn in the near lane, and as Mike said, they were going to get a handle on it, and they did. It was a 5:14 victory for Dunn, a 5